Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am actually going to be talking about my favorites from 2017, and I know it's a little bit late considering we are already, like 3 weeks into January, so sorry about that. But I decided like last minute that I wanted to do this video because I had a lot of favorite makeup items from last year, and later on in the video I'll also talk about some of my favorite new music and some of my favorite shows I've been watching. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. It really helps me out. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I have links to that down below. Give this video a thumbs up, and if you guys would like to see what my 2017 favorites are, then just keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to start with makeup, and I'm just going to kind of go in the order of how I do my makeup, I guess you can say. So I didn't really have any favorite primers, so I'm going to go ahead and go on to foundation. So the first foundation that was a favorite for me is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation. I tried this around the beginning of last year, and I'm actually completely out of it. It doesn't look like I am, but I am. What I like about this foundation is that it actually looked like skin, if you know what I mean. Like, it didn't look cakey. It didn't look like I was wearing a foundation at all. And I just really enjoyed how this made my skin look. I really loved this foundation. I love Tarte. They're one of my favorite brands. And I love that their ingredients have some natural components to it. It is a little bit pricey, but I do recommend this foundation for people who like more of a thinner formula and something that looks more natural on the skin. So the next foundation is something that really surprised me. I actually didn't purchase this until the end of last year, but I am so excited about this foundation right now. It's pretty much the only thing I've been wearing, and that is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish foundation. I am in the shade Porcelain, and the only thing is this foundation I think only has like a handful of shades to pick from, which is absolutely ridiculous. And even though I'm lighter in complexion, I was actually really shocked that this was a perfect match for me. I'm wearing it right now and it blends really nicely into the skin, but I think e.l.f. really needs to work on this and get more shades in this foundation because the formula is beautiful. It's very luminous yet full coverage. It also has an SPF of 15, which is something I really love, especially in the summertime as we're heading towards that direction. But for $6, you guys, like, this foundation is amazing. Okay, so I didn't have any favorite powders this year, but I'm gonna go ahead and skip on to brows. Now, one of the first products is something that I don't think even came out last year. Like, some of these products have been around for a while, but they were just kind of like new to me. So the first one was the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and I'm in the shade Dark Brown. I really love this brow pencil. I love how skinny it is and how precise it is. I did compare this to the NYX Micro Brow, and I must say I still like the Anastasia Brow Wiz better, but the Micro Brow is a really good dupe if you're looking to save some money. The only problem is I've noticed that their shade range has really I don't know how to explain it. Like, it pulls really like red when I wear it on my brows, whereas this is more true to my brow colors. And then the next product is the Benefit Gimme Brow. This is just like a tiny travel size, but it lasted me so long. And I love this brow gel because it has a little bit of a tint to it, but also I just love how tiny the little spoolie is, so you can really get into those brow hairs. Finally, one of my other favorite brow products is by the Brow Gal, and this is the Convertible Brow Palette. This came in a BoxyCharm, and actually a lot of these products did come in BoxyCharm, and I will let you know which ones they are. But this one came in a BoxyCharm a few months back, and this shade right here has been perfect for my brows. I usually like using a brow pencil better, but this powder is wonderful, and I really love how it makes my brows look nice and natural, and it just works really well with my brow color. Okay guys, next I'm going to go on to my favorite palettes of 2017, and unfortunately, like, I didn't get a ton of the newer products that came out when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. I got a few, but I didn't get like the Anastasia Subculture or the Prism palette. I didn't get any of the Kylie palettes. There's just quite a few things that I could have tried, but I just didn't. I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes that I just like. I try not to be too much of a hoarder with my eyeshadow palettes because a lot of the palettes I have are very similar to each other, and I just don't want to like overdo it, you know what I mean? Even though there were a ton of palettes that I really wanted to try this last year, these were my favorites. So first I'm going to start off with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I actually think this came out at the very end of 2016, but I didn't get this until my birthday in May. And I must say, this palette is amazing. The colors are absolutely beautiful and they blend like a dream. They're super pigmented. There is a little bit of fallout with the palette, but it doesn't really bother me too much because I feel like no matter what, I'm always going to get a beautiful look out of these shadows. And like I said, they blend really, really nicely. This is definitely worth your money if you can get your hands on it. I definitely recommend this as a staple palette in your collection. The next palette is the 25B palette by Morphe. I really love this palette mostly because of these deeper purple shades right here and these metallic shades up here. I really, really love how these purples like make my brown eyes pop. If I'm really wanting a nice like sultry smoky eye, I always go to this palette. I think it's really gorgeous. Not all of the shades are amazing, but this bottom area right here is like what I use the most, and then I use some of these transition shades up here. And then these metallic shades are really gorgeous. They look really pretty too when you spray your brush with some setting spray or Fix Plus and you just kind of like foil the shadow all over your lid. It's so gorgeous. I really, really recommend this palette, especially if you're kind of new to Morphe and their palettes. This is a really great beginner palette and something that you can use for like day and night looks and things like that. The next palette is something that really surprised me. This is by the brand Essence, and this is the All About Roses eyeshadow palette. And you get 8 neutral shades in this palette, and I know it looks kind of boring, but this is actually like my go-to palette on days where I'm wanting more of a natural look. And I must say, they're very, very pigmented and creamy and soft. I don't know if that's picking up on camera all right, but I really am surprised how much I love this palette. And I'm trying to remember the price, but it was definitely under $8. I'm pretty sure it was around like 6 something. It was quite a while ago when I got this, but I really, really love this palette. Finally, I think you guys are gonna know which palette I'm gonna talk about because I use it in like all of my tutorials now and all of my makeup looks on Instagram, and I'm wearing it right now, and that is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. You guys, this palette surprised me so much because I'm gonna be 100% honest, Morphe shadows aren't always like 100% on point. Like the one I just showed you is a pretty good palette, but when I look at like the Morphe 35O, I remember when I first tried that palette out, I loved it, but then once I tried other shadows from different brands, I wasn't exactly thrilled about it. But this palette, you guys, I think everyone should own this. You can come up with so many different looks, like neutral looks, you can come up with more colorful, bold looks, you can come up with a smoky eye, you can come up with holiday looks. It just has so much variety to it. And all the shades in this palette blend like a dream, and even the ones that don't swatch as well, they look really, really beautiful on the lid if you're using your finger or brush sprayed with setting spray. So I'll go ahead and swatch a few of these, even though I did a full review on this palette, and I will link that above so you guys can see. But I'll go ahead and just like refresh your memory on how beautiful this palette is. I'm like swatching all the colors. Okay, so these are like some of my favorite shades in the palette. As you can see, like they're so stunning. So this is definitely a palette I think everyone should own, and I love it. I use it almost every single day and I just can't get enough of it. I love this. So next I'm going to go into eyeliner, and I think my favorite eyeliner of 2017 was the Physicians Formula Eye Booster Eyeliner Pen. And you guys, this eyeliner is great. I really, really love the applicator because it's not like a felt pen that's like stiff, it's actually more of a brush. And this eyeliner has been perfect for when I do a wing, and it's super, super black. It goes on really, really nicely, and it makes it really easy to get a sharper edge when you're doing more of a wing, or if you're doing just like a straight across line, it just comes out really precise and nice. That rhymed. And I feel really dumb for saying that now, but it's true. And then the next eyeliner that I really fell in love with was the Wet n Wild Mega Liner, and this is in the shade Black Noir, and this is such a great liquid liner. It has kind of a felt tip on the end, and when you use it, you guys, it is so black. Like, I don't even know if you guys can tell on camera, but it's super, super black, and I love using this. Like, sometimes I'll trace out my wing with this pen, and then I'll fill everything in with this eyeliner. And you guys, this is only a couple bucks at the drugstore. It's super affordable, works really well. It stays on all day. This is definitely something I recommend to you guys. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about some of my favorite bronzers, and I think the Bronzer of the Year award goes to the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is in the shade, actually this is just like the regular shade, and I know they make a lighter one now too. It smells like coconut, which is awesome, and it's super creamy, blends really beautifully onto the skin, and it does have SPF in it, which is great. I recommend this to anyone who wants a good affordable bronzer from the drugstore. This is great. And then the next thing is this Kat Von D Shade and Light bronzer palette. I know this is definitely not a new item, but it's new to me. I actually found this at Marshall's in the makeup section, which is so crazy, and I actually did a video on that about a week ago, and I'll link that above so you guys can check it out. You guys, this is like the best bronzer palette I've ever used. I'm wearing it right now. It blends so good into the skin, and especially this shade right here. This one's like my favorite. It's super, super, super pigmented. And all of these powders up here work really nicely. I'm able to even like take my sponge and use these shades to kind of carve out my contour, which is something I really like doing. And yeah, that's pretty much it for bronzers. I didn't really have any other favorites when it comes to bronzers, but these two were definitely on the top for me. And then next is this Ofra highlighter. This is from a BoxyCharm, and this is in the shade Rodeo Drive. This highlighter is gorgeous, and it's just like super, super crazy bright. I love it so much. I usually use this more in the summertime though, because I'm a little bit more tan around that time. In the winter, I'm definitely more fair, and I love how this looks. I love putting it in the inner corners, and oddly enough, I actually really like the smell of it. It's kind of weird. It kind of smells like old lady perfume, but in a good way. I know that's weird, but I really like it. And then finally, this is the Physicians Formula Butter Highlighter. And this is my favorite highlighter of all time now. Like, I used to love so many other highlighters before, but this is now like my favorite of all time. I'm wearing it right now. Do you guys see that? How pretty it is. And what's crazy is that it reminds me so much of ColourPop highlighters. It's really, really soft and buttery, and it smells like coconuts, just like the bronzer. This stuff is gorgeous. It's like butter, literal butter. And I just love how this looks on the skin. It's really beautiful. I think they make like 4 or 5 other shades, but this one is definitely meant for more like fair skin. But yeah, I love this. I totally forgot to talk about concealers after foundation, but the 2 concealers that I fell in love with this last year is the Wet n Wild Color Corrector Concealer. Actually, this is the Photo Focus Color Corrector Concealer. This one is really great. It's from the drugstore. It's like $5 or something like that. And I really like using this on days where I'm not wearing foundation and I just need to like cover up some blemishes and some redness. It works really, really well, and it stays on all day. And then of course, my favorite concealer of all time is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I'm in the shade Fair Neutral for this, and I use this nearly every single day. It brightens up the under eyes really, really nice. It blends beautifully. It doesn't make your under eyes crease. I love this concealer so, so much. Okay guys, we're getting there, I promise. So the next thing I'm going to talk about are some more eyeliners, and these aren't necessarily like normal eyeliners, but these are the NYX Vivid Brights liners, and these were like my best friend during Halloween time, and I did a ton of like more fancier looks for Instagram and like special effects, things like that. And I love using these for more intricate eye looks and, you know, the more like fancy stuff. And these are amazing. Let me just show you one right here because I don't want to swatch like all of these. But the brush is super, super, super thin, so you can really get in there if you're wanting to do like a flower design or just a really, really like colorful, sharp wing. And these are the only colors I have, but they also make a red and a pink and a few other colors. And then this is the NYX White Liquid Liner. It's not the same line as this, but I definitely use this all the time too. These were like some of my favorite products of 2017 because I use them so much and they work so well. So next I have one mascara that was my favorite, and that is the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara. And I actually don't use this for the top lashes very often, but for the bottom lashes, this mascara is amazing, and I remember it being like under $5, I think even cheaper than that. And what I love is that the bristles are super, super, super tiny, so you can really get in on that lower lash line. And this one is waterproof, but I prefer that for my lower lash line because my eyes water a lot because of my allergies and things like that. So this is a mascara I definitely recommend if you guys are like extra like I am and need a mascara for your bottom lashes. Next up we have this blush by Essence, and this is the Satin Touch blush in the shade Satin Love. This blush is really beautiful. It's super soft and buttery, and it blends so nicely on the skin. I don't know if that's even showing up very well, but this is my favorite blush of all time. I use it especially on days where I want more of a subtle look and I just need to add a little bit of color to my face. It's very affordable. Essence has really been kind of a cool new brand for me, and I'm actually really liking a lot of their stuff. Next we have a few lip products, and I must say I think my favorite lipsticks of all time now, like literally of all time, not just of 2017, are the Anastasia liquid lipsticks. Guys, I can wear this all day and it won't budge. I can eat and drink and talk and everything, and by the end of the day, like, my lipstick still looks flawless. It's kiss proof, it doesn't transfer on to your drink or anything like that, and it does dry pretty matte. Like, it can be a little drying, but it's not uncomfortable, and it's super pigmented. I definitely recommend checking these out if you haven't already. They are a little pricey, around 21 bucks or so, which is the typical price for a higher end liquid lipstick, which I think is ridiculous. But I really love these, and this one is actually my favorite of all time. It's called Catherine, and it has like this really pretty like terracotta red undertone to it. I really love it. It's so gorgeous. So the next liquid lipstick is by Tarte, and this is the Tartest lip paint in the shade, what is this? Home Slice. This was sent in a BoxyCharm, and I had never tried this formula before until we received this in the box, and this is actually one of my favorite formulas now. It's super thin and lightweight. It doesn't dry down super dry, and it just looks really nice and comfortable on the lips, you know? Like, it doesn't make your lips crack, and it doesn't make your lips look all dry and crusty, but I really love this. It's super pigmented, and it just looks really gorgeous on the lips. And finally, my favorite lipstick, I think, of the year is by the brand My Looking Glass. They actually sent this to me through the mail, and you guys, this is the most gorgeous metallic liquid lipstick. It's in the shade Deep Wine. It looks like this. You guys probably see me wearing this all the time in my videos and in my Instagram photos, and it's actually like a very wearable metallic liquid lip. It smells like candy, like from my childhood, and I can't like think of what the candy is, but it reminds me of something from my childhood. This dries down to a matte finish, yet it has a really beautiful metallic sheen, and it stays on for hours. I rarely have to reapply, but when I do, it's not like clumping up and looking gross, you know what I mean? And I will swatch this one for you guys too. I don't know if that's showing up very well on camera, but it's really pretty. I love the metallic shift. I get a ton of compliments when I wear this liquid lipstick, and I think everyone should own it. Okay, so we are finally down to the wire with the makeup category. And so I'm going to just talk about a few brushes that I fell in love with this last year. The first thing is this Morphe M439 brush. This is my go-to foundation brush. I love how big it is and how dense it is. It blends my foundation in flawlessly, and it really looks nice, especially when I'm stippling in the foundation. And it's super affordable. I really love this brush. The next brushes are by Lexi, and actually a lot of these brushes were sent to me in BoxyCharm, so sorry about that. But these are my favorite Lexi brushes that I have tried so far. This one is the 229 Taper Blending Brush. I love this for getting into the crease and smoking out the edges of my makeup. It's pretty dense yet fluffy, and it just really makes everything blend nicely. And then the next one is this 237 Blending Brush. It's a really small tapered blending brush, but what I like about it is that when I really need to blend something in together or make something look a little bit less harsh, this is the brush that I use, and I literally put no product on it whatsoever. And I'll just blend really lightly, and it looks flawless. And then finally we have this 640 Pro Precision tapered brush, and I use this for my blush, and it works great. I tried it out for my blush one time, and I absolutely fell in love, and it just really blends everything nicely together without it looking too like clown-like, if you know what I mean. And it's so soft, like seriously, I can just pet my face with it all day. And then next, I think my favorite blending brush of all time now is this Royal & Langnickel BMX 430 crease brush. I use this every single day now. It's super fluffy and dense, and I love it so much. It blends my eyeshadow together beautifully, and I just think it gives it like that flawless finish. Sorry if I'm sounding out of breath. It's my CFS symptoms kind of flaring up from talking so much. So sorry if I sound like I'm like falling asleep on you. But finally, I have these e.l.f. brushes, and you guys, e.l.f. has really stepped up their game. These brushes I use on a daily basis. First off, I have this Flawless face brush, and I use this for my bronzer and contour every single day. It blends really nicely. It's really fluffy. These brushes are vegan and cruelty free, and they're so affordable. I really love this brush. And then finally is this e.l.f. highlighting brush. This is like the perfect tapered highlighting brush. It picks up product really well, and it just blends everything together nicely without it looking like a harsh, like stark line, if you know what I mean. This is something I definitely recommend. I believe it was like $3 to $5, if that. So pick this up. It's wonderful. I love it. Okay, so that is it for makeup. I also wanted to talk about a couple of other things that were my favorites of 2017. When it comes to music, I think my favorite album of the year was the Paramore After Laughter album. I love that album. It is so good. I think it's actually one of their best albums they've ever released. I've been listening to Paramore since high school. It's kind of like this like scene girl phase I went through that like never went away, if you know what I'm saying. But I really love how good the album is. I relate to it a lot. The song Fake Happy makes me cry because I love it so much. And then another artist I really got into this last year was Borns. I don't know his like real name, but I really been like getting into some of his music, and I really like how like it's like upbeat yet like kind of like, I don't know what the word is, like it has like this melancholy vibe to it, but I like it, like not to sound like depressing. And then the newer Kendrick Lamar album, Damn, that one is so good. My boyfriend and I love Kendrick Lamar. We listen to him a lot, and I really thought that this was his best album. I was super into it this last year. Of course, the newer Lana Del Rey album, so good. I love her so much, you guys. Like she's like my spirit animal. I love her so much. I actually did a tutorial on one of her makeup looks from the song Love, and that actually got the most views out of like any of my videos ever here on YouTube. And so I feel like I owe Lana something, you know what I mean? I love her so much. And I'm trying to think what else. I feel like there's so much new music that I got into, but right now I just like can't think of it. I'm kind of an old soul. Like I really love listening to older music, like oldies and classic rock and things like that. But I'm also into like punk and indie and like more new wave kind of stuff. Like, I don't know, I'm very all over the place with music, but that's something that I really love because I feel like depending on the day, I can kind of just like set my mood with the music I feel like listening to, if that makes sense. And then finally, I wanted to talk about a couple of shows that I really got into this last year. And well, okay, it didn't come out last year, but of course, Stranger Things was amazing as always. I did like the first season a lot better, but I think that's because it was so new and different. But I do think the newer season was really good too. Another show I got into was Peaky Blinders. That show actually came out in like 2013, 2014, I think. But my boyfriend and I started watching it last year, and we got hooked. We pretty much binge watched every single season like in a month, and we are just like totally hooked on that show. I think all of you guys should watch it. It's super good. Another show that I got into actually with my family is Baskets with Zach Galifianakis. It's hilarious. It's like the most like dry, like dark humor ever, but it's so good. It's on FX. And then another show that's on that channel actually is Fargo, and we've been watching that show for the past few years. It's so good. I love it. The movie's amazing, and it's like from the 90s, but it's so good. Oh, and of course, Pretty Little Liars had their series finale last year, which to be honest, I was actually pretty disappointed in. My expectations for their finale was like way too high. I thought Ezra was gonna be A, and he wasn't, and I was just like underwhelmed by the reveal of Uber A or whatever, with this whole thing of like Spencer having a twin. Like, I just thought it was really like kind of like overdone and kind of predictable, and I don't know, I was just very disappointed considering how much Pretty Little Liars has like surprised us over the years. So what are your thoughts on that, guys, if you guys have made it through the video this far? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I know there was a lot more favorites this last year, but that's all I can think of right now. If you guys had any favorite makeup products this year, or television shows, or music, please feel free to leave it down in the comment box below. I would love to hear what you guys fell in love with for 2017. And I hope you guys are having a great year so far. I know it's only been a few weeks, but I'm hoping for a great year for all of us and good things to happen. And I hope you guys are all having a great day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. I know this video is a little long. I apologize, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.